Good morning. We are live. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to June 14th, 2024. Right, the last edition of this week's pre-market prep sessions. It's been a very, very eventful week, a very fun week. A lot of things going on with markets and a lot of exciting stuff still that could go on here on this Friday, depending on the closes that we get. We went over a lot of, fun, promising seasonal opportunities, new names that, we haven't traded in a while that have some promising looks. So I'm excited to see if they give us some opportunity here. But I'm looking to continue to remain patient, right? Whenever you have a great week, like we've had this week, where you have, Eli Lilly, Avgo, Spy, Apple, what have you, insert any of the other names there, Oracle. Um, when you have like a week like that where it's just like we're hitting, you don't want to look to overexert yourself, right? Or overdo it. Over trading is often the bane of a trader's existence. So if a good opportunity rears its head, cool, I'm in. But unless it's a great setup, not looking to ruin a good week, right? You can go into this weekend, riding the high of well executed trades earlier this week and, calling that CPI correctly and us diving in SPY 2 weeks ago and all that, celebrate those wins and let them roll. But yeah, we'll see what the market has for us. Again, I'm not here all next week. So, I'm going to try and stick to that as well because I know the market is a tempting, mistress. She's a temptress altogether. And it can be tough to stay away, but I'm completely devoting myself to the Kaizen event next week, to AI, to all the value that's going to be brought to that event. And I could not be more excited. Registration closes in 48 hours. So make sure if you haven't hopped on it, you hopped on that www.imbetterdaily.com. I don't have to sell it, right? Go to the website, check out my posts recently, check out the emails. The value is all the way there, right? This technology is something that cannot be undersold. And if you have a lack of opportunity in your life, the best thing you could do is learn this tech in order to create more opportunities, because there's no way I would have been on the phone with an executive from a $500 million company that's looking to work with us both in internal capacities within the company and external if I was not aware, right, and actively using these AI tools. Miracles don't meet you in motion. Miracles can't meet you while you're stagnant. Opportunity cannot meet you while you're stagnant. All of it meets you in motion, right? The universe rewards action, and that's not just you doing the same old thing, breeding the same results. Do something new. Learn about tons of new tech. Learn what it is you don't know, so then you have somewhere to move. You can't just look at some big thing like the stock market or some big thing like AI and say, I have no idea where to start, so I'm just never going to start. Get in the room. I'll show you exactly where to start. And then you can go from there and continue to learn. You say, okay, cool. Now I know about, if you're getting into trading or whatnot, like, okay, now I know that I need to be able to read charts. Now I know that, I need to be able to navigate the option chain. That I need to know the option Greeks. That I need to know this. You don't know any of that until you learn what it is you don't know. So that's what you need to just devote your life to. And I got some light peeking through the curtains here. Devote your life to in 2024 is learning, okay, what is it that I don't know? Once you learn that, you have an enemy to attack, right? In our head, life is super complicated. I try and make it as simple as possible, right? If I need to make something shake or there's something that's happening, what do I need to do? I need to get in rooms that I've not been in before so that I can learn things that I have not learned before, and opportunities and doors can open to me that have not been opened before. I work from home, right? Basically a hermit other than my like runs in the morning. There's no way that I'm randomly going to get linked up with an executive of a $500 million company other than through artificial intelligence, right? And I didn't even have to be there for the demo. That's what's so nice is that once you show that you have competency in these different technologies, people will volunteer to partner with you. They're like, hey, yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't want to take the time to learn how to do that, but I recognize that it's valuable, right? So now I have other people that are speaking for me, right? Right after my challenge, I'm speaking at another challenge, also on artificial intelligence, right? Literally, I'm speaking on Monday on another challenge after giving my challenge Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right? So it's like these doors open, but you got to put yourself in the position to even be exposed to them. So I'm excited for that. That's my, my wrapping up, I guess, pitch for it. But just be there. Whatever you think it's going to be, there's going to be tons more value. I could teach 3 days on any of the one tools that I talk about there. I'm going to talk about a crap ton of them, right? Because I'm trying to deliver as much value as possible. So come ready. Super excited for that. I've been looking forward to it all week, and I'm happy that the time is approaching. If you know anybody that could benefit from it, send them to the site, I'mBetterDaily.com, and let's get them locked in and ready to rock and roll. Because Wednesday will come fast. And of course, you'll get email correspondence about me, from me, in the coming days for all my people that are signed up. Of course, no need to worry about that. You haven't missed anything. In terms of our news today, let's get into it, y'all. And make sure you drop your ones in the chat, signifying your intention to get 1% better by the end of this session, by the end of this day. That's what the event is named after, Kaizen, and that's what we're about here each and every day. That's how we caught all these different stocks that we're looking at here this week, right? With Affirm and Apple and all these different swings, right? It happened by getting 1% better, being willing to execute. So let's do it. Top news, swipe fees. A $30 billion settlement proposed by Visa and MasterCard is likely to be rejected by a federal judge in a major setback for the card networks in the long-running dispute over swipe fees. At a hearing, Judge Margot Brody said she will likely not approve the settlement as it does not appear to provide sufficient relief. The judge plans to issue a written decision in about a week. So the deal terms: under the landmark settlement, the companies agreed to reduce swipe fees for 3 years and cap the rates for 5 years, with the moves estimated to deliver at least $29.79 billion in savings. They also agreed to update network rules to allow merchants more choice in how they accept digital payments. The settlement aimed to resolve most claims in the nearly 20-year-long litigation by merchants over high fees charged for processing card payments. I know I have to process payments, right? They charge me out the wazoo. So it is what it is, right? If you go in and you're like, Adam, why does this have this weird cost? It ain't me. I gotta factor this in and pass it off because Visa and MasterCard evidently, don't have enough food on their plates. But let's see here. Cap rates, all right. The settlement aims to resolve 20-year-long litigation. Industry response: the card companies disagreed with the judge, with MasterCard and Visa calling the proposed settlement fair and appropriate. I'm sure they did. However, Christopher Jones, executive committee member of Merchants Payments Coalition, argued that the settlement would have locked in cartel pricing, and the judge's statement was, quote, in support of justice for merchants and consumers. I'm on the side of the judge here. Please stop charging me out of the butt just for you to literally, just for us to like make exchanges. Like, stuff is already as expensive as it is, right? We don't need you also taking extra on top, and then somebody turning around the little touchscreen asking for a tip. Bigger picture, credit and debit card swipe fees, which have more than doubled over the past decade, are the biggest operating costs for merchants after labor. Visa and MasterCard centrally set the swipe fees charged by banks that issue cards under their brands and block transactions from being processed over other networks that charge lower fees. Seeking out analyst Perseus Perspectives previously noted that the biggest losers from the settlement are likely to be card issuing banks, and it may not materially alter the long-term trajectory of payment networks businesses. Now, stocks, options sold. I was on top of this, right? On top of this 2 days ago. That's 1% better daily. That is the upside of 1% better daily. We were ahead of the game on SPY, ahead of the game on Apple, ahead of the game on Avgo, ahead of the game on Oracle. Right, we're ahead of the game on all these different things from getting 1% better daily. I want that pointed out. That it comes from my mouth and from within the group. A lot of times, well before you hear it via news, and that means something. If somebody is continuously prepared and in the right area, that's not coincidence, right? It means that whatever they're saying to focus on, whatever they're saying to stress, are things that are important to stress, because that's what allows you to, make sure that you're proactively positioned and effectively see the future in a lot of different aspects. So in terms of options sold, influential meme stock trader Keith Gill, known online as Roaring Kitty, appears to have sold his call options in GameStop while adding to his pile of shares. Gill now holds over 9 million shares of the video game retailer, up from 5 million on Monday, and his cash position seems to have shrunk to 6.3 million from 29.4 million. That's why you don't trust this random internet crap and you don't know what's going on or how to read an option chain or how to tell volume, right? This news is breaking here today, and all of these people that spent insane amounts of money on GameStop call options that had the diamond hands and weren't going to sell. What happened to Roaring Kitty? He dipped. He's out, right? It's your job to make sure you know what the heck is going on with your own money. And if you don't take the time to do that, frankly, you deserve to lose it. And that's it, right? If you have the nerve to take thousands of dollars and sink it into something that you have no idea about, you have no desire to learn, that money should naturally flow to someone that has a plan for it anyways, right? Water, everything in the universe naturally flows for something that has a plan for it, something that has a guide for it. You just freeballing and throwing stuff out into the universe is never going to work consistently. It might work once, it might work twice, but you've got to know what you're doing. And at the end of the day, the money that you spend screwing around, you could have spent learning, and it would have cost you a lot less, right? So for all my YOLO iron hands, diamond hands people out here, please take the time to learn about these markets. Otherwise, it will continue to be a black hole for you. Meanwhile, GameStop postponed its annual meeting as its investor website crashed multiple times on Thursday because of heavy traffic. GameStop shares have been on a roller coaster over the past month after Gill's return to social media reignited interest in the meme stock, while the company cashed in on the frenzy to raise over $3 billion. Yeah. And in terms of, like interpreting his move and like why he just positioned it in the shares, it's because GameStop is going to acquire the company. They already said they're looking to, take that cash hoard and acquire some other company. And I think they're going to try their best to make it a valuable company, right? And if they're smart, a company that has a lot of data that can be licensed for AI training models, right? Or has something to do with artificial intelligence, that would be the smart move. So I don't think he's wrong that he's keeping the shares, for people who want to be invested in something. I think like that can be a fun little throwaway thing. Of course, with what's happening with SPY, with Apple, all those are still the best places to have your money. But if you can always go have fun in markets, right? Have like a speculative portfolio. I do with a bunch of random crap in it. And then one of them takes off, and that could be GameStop. But yeah, the bottom line of this story is make sure you understand what's going on and you can make decisions for yourself, because there is so much crap that's spewed online and people can use words to sound so smart, and it is BS, for lack of better terms. I saw some like explanation about how, him, all of this, the volume, the selling volume on the contracts that he had was called like a wash trade that was illustrated by like Wall Street. And it's just so not true. And I was like, wow. And this tweet reached thousands of people, and like people are just like liking it, and they're just grasping on and just trying to take these hits of hopium. And it's like, dude, go out and learn what the heck is true and what is false, because you could throw out a few words, right, and just sound smart, and people are like, yes, this confirmation bias is what I need to feel comfortable holding my positions to the moon. And then 2 days later, Roaring Kitty is all out of his options, and you're sitting there down 99% with nowhere to turn, right? Like, do not listen to random people online. Make sure that you are like doing your research. You understand there's a track record of what they're saying working, right? In terms of outlook, tax plans, in an attempt to woo business leaders, Donald Trump told around 100 CEOs of some of the biggest firms that he planned to reduce the corporate tax rate to 20% from the current 21% if elected. He made the statements off the record at a business roundtable meeting attended by CEOs, including Apple's Tim Cook, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon, and Walmart's Doug McMillon. Trump had lowered the corporate tax rate in 2017 from 35% to 21% when he was in office. The Republican presidential candidate also floated the idea of an all tariff policy to GOP lawmakers as a means to eventually eliminate income tax in the U.S. An interesting proposition if true, right? Interesting if true. Healthcare abortion pill access. The Supreme Court unanimously upheld access to the abortion pill mifepristone, saying the plaintiffs did not have legal standing to challenge the Food and Drug Administration's approval of the medication. The plaintiffs, led by the Alliance for Hippocratic Medicine, sought to roll back the FDA's 2016 and 2021 relaxations of regulatory requirements for mifepristone access. Quote, under Article 3 of the Constitution, a plaintiff's desire to make a drug less available for others does not establish standing to sue, Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote in the ruling. To note, similar challenges are being brought by Missouri, Kansas, and Idaho, whose attorneys believe they will fare better on legal standing. Now, in terms of today's markets, a little mixed bag happening here, looking like some red, at least when this newsletter came out. We might have bounced a bit since then. Let's see. Now, in Asia, Japan were up 0.2%, Hong Kong down 0.9%, China up 0.1%, India up 0.2%, London down 0.5%, Paris down 2.5%, Frankfurt down 1.4%, the Dow down 0.8%, kind of significant, S&P down 0.5%, Nasdaq down 0.2%, crude oil up 0.1%, gold up 1.3%, Bitcoin down 1.5%. Consumer sentiment data at 10 a.m. So that'll be important. And that's really the only piece of important data we get today. Now, what else is happening? We've got our rapid fire stock news rundown here. Tesla shareholders approve Musk's pay package. Producer price index unexpectedly falls in May. Core measure stalls. So we had CPI data falling, which is bullish. PPI data falling, which is bullish. But Powell just had on the bearish hat this week. U.S. government to recalculate Medicare Advantage quality ratings. Bank of Japan maintains rates, signals plan to reduce bond buying. Wells Fargo fires over a dozen for simulating keyboard activity. Wells Fargo, man, they can't even trust their own employees. Their employees were just simulating working, right? Simulating keyboard activity, basically using some type of program or algorithm to simulate them actually making keyboard strokes like they were working, but they weren't working. Adobe soars on better than expected results, strong outlook. Sony still hanging around the hoop for Paramount's parent. OPEC rips unrealistic and dangerous peak oil demand prediction. G7 summit, Ukraine loan deal reached. Pope Francis to talk AI. We even got the Pope talking AI. That's how you know you need to get on it. FDA recommends KP.2 strain be used in updated C-star vid shots. I feel like you can't even say it now, or else they'll limit reach and all that other stuff. But anyways, that's where we're at, guys. Finishing this week strong, June 14th, 2024. Just a heads up for my trading group people. I have a meeting from 11 to maybe 1, so I'll be indisposed then. If you have questions, ask me beforehand, but definitely don't hit me at like 10:50 a.m. Right? Ask them well beforehand if you can, and then I'll get to them. But other than that, guys, this is our last pre-market prep for a week. So it was great seeing you guys. Still make sure you're reading the newsletter, taking care of business. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Right? Kaizen. If you're not, I'm betterdaily.com. Get there, register, secure that seat. Closes in 48 hours. Have a great weekend, everyone, and have a great Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth next Wednesday. I'll see you in a little bit. Peace.